I know so much about food, which is interesting. And I never really, it never came out of me until I started doing these pop-up dinners and these speaking engagements. I did a Poke 101 class for Pinterest. All these kids, you know, I say kids because these tech companies are all kids. And all they know about Poke is it comes from a store. So I got to teach what Poke really is, where it came from, how it became, and all this stuff. And when I was done, my friend goes, "How'd you know all this stuff?" I go, "I don't know."
So you didn't go look it up. You had it in your head and your heart.
Yes, and in your heart is the thing, the intent, right? Mm-hmm. So I am realizing as I'm getting older, I can do anything I want as long as there's good intent.
Lanai Tabura has been doing just about anything and everything in broadcasting since his first television audition when he was 6 years old. DJ, comedian, television host, actor, entrepreneur. His passion has turned to cooking, and he has dedicated himself to sharing aloha across the globe through food. Lanai Tabura, next on Long Story Short.
One-on-one, engaging conversations with some of Hawaii's most intriguing people. Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox.
Aloha mai kako, I'm Leslie Wilcox. Lanai Tabura, who was named for the island where he was born, knew from a young age that he wanted to be in front of the camera. He became a familiar name early on in his life for being a disc jockey on a popular radio station, and then for his comedy. It wasn't until later that he became known for his cooking and rose to national attention when his team won the Great Food Truck Race. Yet cooking was one of his earliest life lessons. Lanai had to grow up quickly when his father left and his mother went back to work. As the oldest child, home responsibilities fell to him.
I grew up on a plantation. My father left when I was young. 3 brothers, and my mother said one day, "I gotta go to work. I can't stay at home with you guys anymore. You're gonna have to step up." What does that mean, you know, at 12 years old? Step up, what do you mean? I'm not gonna be home till 9, you gotta cook dinner. Cook dinner? I'm 12 years old for 3 kids.
And how old were your brothers?
Makani, who's right under me, is 2 years younger than me, and then you had Adam, which was 5 years under him, and then Stevie, which is a year under him. So we were, you know, the youngest were 4 or 5 years old. And then Makani was 10, you know. So that's tough, you know, and you grow up on an island where there's not a lot of, which I think was good, there's not a lot of, there's no fast food. The stores closed at 6. I think what is the lifesaver about our grocery store, you could charge. Remember those days where you go, I'll put it on Tabura's tab.
Exactly.
My mom's tab. And then at the end of the month, you get the bill, right? And then you can divvy up. But if we didn't have that, my father left with every penny in the bank and a clothes on his back. Mm-hmm. Left us in a 2-bedroom house, plantation style, and we had nothing, zero, you know. I remember when we applied for welfare, I was so embarrassed. Because it's Lanai, everybody knows your business. I was like, "Mom, I can't take this book to the store. People are gonna know we're on welfare." Today they have a credit card. Back then there were pages of books.
But they also knew your dad had left.
Yes.
They knew everything.
Everybody did. Everybody did. He went to the airport and left the car. For 2 days we didn't know where he went. 2 days you didn't know where he went, and then we found the car at the airport.
Did you ever reconnect with him?
Never.
Never want to?
No, but I forgave him. There was a point in my life where I was so angry about it. There was a point where I would go in the bathroom in high school and cry, because like, why, what's wrong with this guy, you know? And all that anger, of course, built up to...
And bitterness really
bitterness.
Poisons you too.
That's the word, very bitter. And then I was on a cover of a magazine, and the editor...
Why?
I think it was for a TV show I did. I was in my early 20s.
Okay, early 20s,
yeah,
got it.
It was a TV show I did, and I was on this cover, and he saw the cover, and he was in the mainland, and he wrote to the editor and said, "I think that's my son. I need to get a hold of him." The editor wrote me like 5 times before I finally wrote back, and I said, "Yeah, that is my father, my dad. You can send me his info." So the only contact I've had with him was through 2 emails. One was him apologizing to me for what he did, and mine was forgiving him for what he did. And I said, "That's it. you've finished this chapter for me, because now I feel this pressure is off, and I feel that I can move on now. The bitterness is gone. I said, if you want to contact my brothers, it's up to you and it's up to them, because we're all adults now. So that was my last contact with him.
Did he try to reach your mother?
No. And my mother is, my mother's not the type to talk bad about anybody. So she always made it open. You guys want to talk to him? You can call him. You want to see him? You can see him, because he'll always be your father. But to me, a father has a different meaning. He'll always be my dad.
Right, a father, I mean, that's a verb, right? It's what you do.
Yeah.
So really, these are really formative things that happen to you. I mean, things that change you.
Big time.
So you were 12 years old thinking, where's the food that I am supposed to cook for dinner?
Yeah, yeah. And so if it wasn't for my grandparents who taught us how to grow vegetables, I don't think we would have survived. And my grandfather really became the father figure. Even though he was a very harsh man. He was Mr. Miyagi. Everybody called him Mr. Miyagi. He would teach you through lessons. He wouldn't tell you. He wouldn't tell you that the fire is hot. He's gonna give you a lesson, or he's gonna somehow drum up something so you go through the experience so you get the lesson, and then he'll ask you after. That kind of guy. Very old school.
Did you learn well that way? Was that a good way for you?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Now that I think about it, yeah, but at the time I'm like, golly, what?
Why doesn't he just say what he means?
Yeah, what did you say, I remember when I was a junior in high school, I wanted to go to junior prom, and my mom said, you can't, we don't have any money. Expensive, tuxedo and everything. And my grandfather was listening to the conversation, and he goes, hey, come outside. So I go outside, he goes, you see this cabbage? Not growing good. Help me. So what do you need me to do? He said, we need to till the ground. Start tilling the ground. Next thing you know, it's an hour in, I'm sweating. I'm like, what? How did I end up tilling cabbage? What's going on here? Next day he goes, tomorrow I'm gonna come back here 1 o'clock. You help me, we're gonna plant new cabbage. So he shows me how to plant cabbage. This goes on for, 3-4 months. Comes time for junior prom. Boy, come outside. He goes, I need you to help me pick the cabbage. Too heavy, my back's sore. I get a big bag, fill up the bag with cabbage. Let's go to the store. We go to the store, we sell the cabbage. I look at all the money, I go, Grandpa, look at all this money. What are we gonna do with it? He goes, you go to the prom. 3-month lesson.
Yeah, that is a great formative lesson.
But he did a lot of stuff like that.
And then how did you learn to cook it?
Trial and error. Trial and error. Salt and pepper. It's all you had. Hey, it's not salty enough, put more salt. Too much pepper, put less pepper. And then of course you watch your grandparents cook, you watch your mom cook when there were those days. You really paid attention because you didn't want to just eat Spam and rice every day. You got tired of Spam and rice every day.
Did you think it was drudgery or did you enjoy this?
You know what? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It became a competition amongst the brothers. My third brother, Adam, became an amazing chef. He cooked for Steve Jobs. He's cooked for all these different celebrities. We won the food truck race because of him.
So this life event that really could have really unnerved you and really put you on a bad trajectory, it actually turned out to be something that became embedded in your life and a springboard.
The biggest blessing in disguise. Everything happens for a reason. And I think things would be much different if my dad was in my life. And it could be way better. It could have been worse. It would have been a different path for sure.
Lanai Tabura wanted to be on television from the time he was a little boy. After graduating from high school on Lanai, he headed to Oahu to attend Hawaii Pacific University. He didn't stay long, though, because he found a new passion.
I went to a floor wax audition, and it was 1,000 kids, and my cousin ended up getting it. But I was so fascinated by the concept of it. Like, wait, do it again? What do you mean do it again? I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I was so fascinated about the concept of you can be in front of this thing and then people can watch it later. And I was fascinated about television, and I was fascinated how people can act like somebody else. And then you started watching television. I started watching Checkers and Pogo, and I started watching Andy Bumatai, High School Days, and I started watching Booga Booga, and it fascinated me how they can make people laugh and how they can act like somebody else and make people laugh. That was the fascination, I think. I never thought I'd do stand-up comedy. I started doing stand-up comedy because of James Grant Benton, Augie, and Andy. That was just a hobby. I wanted to do stand-up comedy because of the timing part of it.
Which is the hardest part.
Yes, and I found out that if you can master the timing, you can say anything you want. You can act, you can host, you can do interviews. You know, radio really helped me with the timing part on interviews as well.
How did you get to Oahu to do all of this?
I had a scholarship, believe it or not, for volleyball. Hawaii Pacific University, Nahaku Brown did a clinic on Lanai, and I was a pretty good volleyball player.
You were all-state.
Yeah, thank you. Nobody knows that. But anyway, she was offering a management scholarship because they were going to start an NCAA team. It turned into a club team. I got into radio at the same time and then kind of moved out.
Well, what's a management scholarship?
They offer a couple scholarships to help for people to help with volleyball teams, like the women's volleyball team.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, the guy that sets up the court and, you know, gets the water and, you know, gets ready for game day, gets the uniforms ready.
She saw your business side.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Nahaku. But yeah, she really is the one that got me to Oahu because we couldn't afford a college at all. My mom was pissed when I dropped out.
And why did you drop out?
Radio. I got when I started, my first day of college was my first day of my radio gig. Oh, yeah.
It was competition between the two?
And it took over. It took over, not a little bit, it took over 100%. I was so fascinated by radio. Again, I can tell people what to do and they don't even see me. This is pre-Facebook, MySpace, social media. So you know that everyone's listening to you. We had a 21 share at night, which was like 3 out of every 5 teens listening to us.
That's phenomenal because there were so many radio stations.
Yes.
I think we had the highest per capita rate in the nation.
We did. It was like 30 radio stations for 1 million people, you know. But I was so fascinated by radio, and that was it. I was indulged in it, you know. Theater
and it paid you too.
It did. And that was the other thing. It paid me, right? College wasn't going to pay me. Yeah. Working part-time at San Francisco Rag Shop was paying me pennies. And being in radio, my first year was minimum wage, but after I proved that I could do what I could do, I was living it up, you know. I had a car, I had a house, I had a condo. I had a tab everywhere I went because everybody wanted you to talk about their bar or their restaurant, you know.
And yet, did you foresee what would happen to radio? I mean, it hasn't died like many people predicted,
no.
But it's not the same. It's a lot of consolidation and recorded voices.
Yeah, I seen it. That was one thing that I really saw clearly that it was going to come to an end for me. I saw it 10 years before I'm still in radio, by the way. I do shows in Japan. But the actual 24/7, put 9 to 5, working in radio every day, I saw it 10 years before it even came.
You know, you would be recording your voice and it would be played on different channels.
Yeah, I seen it. Because now I can eliminate that person. I can eliminate this person. Mm-hmm. So unless you were at the top of the food chain, you weren't going to get paid because you were going to be one of the people eliminated, right? So I started my TV career because I knew that I needed to get out of something else. And then I started my entrepreneurship, try everything. What do I like? What don't I like?
I wonder if one of the reasons you did the entrepreneurship, you were, I don't know if it was innately inside you, or did you see fewer opportunities that were already created for somebody like you?
It was my mom. Such a great question. It was my mom that told me, what do you want to be? I don't know. I want to be on TV. How do you know? You never try them, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what you want to do? You want to be a realtor? How do you know? You never tried it. You got to try it first. You got to go see what it is first. What if you don't like the format? What if you don't like how it works? What if you don't like the politics of it? You know, what you gonna do? That's why I never, until today, I was like, if I get opportunity, I look at everything as opportunity, by the way. If I see opportunity, I'm gonna go dig into it. I'm gonna go dig and, hey, how does this work? Mm-hmm. I wanna try.
And you're willing to give your time to try it out?
Yeah. I could die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow, and then what? My best friend died when he was 35, and I felt it was another huge lesson to me to try things. Don't be afraid. I'm always going to pay taxes. I'm always going to work. So why not try it? You know, I commend people who can do something for 30 years, 40 years, you know, but it's kind of not for me.
So if you had a choice between a good, steady job and this tantalizing opportunity that you didn't know if would pay off, what would you do?
Tantalizing 100%.
Yeah.
A good, steady job is boring to me. And it's for other people. I commend you again. That's good if you could. I wish I could, because it's security, yeah? But it's so boring to me. It's so boring. I have so many wealthy friends that have been doing the same job for a long time, and they're miserable. They ask, well, how come, what are you doing now? Well, how come you're doing this? It's like they tell me I live vicariously through your social media or your Instagram, or, you know. And it's not that I'm trying to brag about what I do or anything. I just do stuff that I love to do. I want it to be fun. Everything has to be fun.
And you've made it pay off for you.
Yeah, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. 6 years ago, I went bankrupt. I lost 3 houses. I think I had 4 cars. For what? It was nothing. Cars were nothing. The houses were nothing. But it was a huge lesson. I'm still going through that lesson, you know. So now I have a new guard. How do I not go through the same mistake, right?
Well, maybe you were trying to control circumstances before, and now you try to control yourself.
Yeah, that's what it is. It really is. I never had money before, and when you hear these stories about people who won the lottery or have done good, you know, Larry Price always used to tell me, "You're not going to get rich yet." And I go, "Why you always tell me that?" He goes, "Because you need to learn still. It's not your turn. It's not your turn."
So did you just go crazy because you had available money in a
yeah.
way you didn't before?
Oh, yeah. And I went crazy in a sense of not just for me, taking care of other people, which I should have. You know, I didn't have kids. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't, nobody teaches you that. You know, no one teaches you about taxes. In school, they don't teach you that. No one teaches you that it can run out. No one teaches you that this job can end, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm going through it every day still today. I think I'm going to be that guy that doesn't retire, for sure. I love to work, so I'm going to be working.
But you are going to save money, right?
I'm going to, yeah. I started.
Okay. Because that's the thing, is when you're always living hand to mouth, regular savings is not it's not something on your list because you don't have it to save.
Yeah, it's not part of your ritual. It's not part of your everyday thing,
Right.
because you never had it. I never had it.
And then you assume if you have it, life will be easy. So
It's not easier. It doesn't get easier. I think it gets harder. You know, more money, more problems. You know, it's funny because when you get more money, you think, okay, now I can get the things that I need. You know, or I need to get that, or I always wanted to get that. I need it. But you really don't need it. You know, you need toothpaste and you need toilet paper. Okay, I'm paying my bills. My kids are okay. I'm paying their bills. I have enough to pay for them to go to college. Do I want to be wealthy? That's starting to turn. It's before, you asked me 10 years ago, I want to be wealthy. I want to be one of the wealthiest guys in Hawaii. Now I want to be one of the most happiest guys, and I want to be doing what I love to do guys in Hawaii.
In 2013, Lanai Tabura and his team entered Food Network's The Great Food Truck Race. They traveled more than 4,000 miles across the country in their Aloha Plate food truck in a competition to see who could make the most money. Well, their team won thanks to the support of thousands of former Hawaii residents who came out to support them.
You know what's so interesting about that whole race was the word aloha. I'm going to keep coming back to it, but the word aloha. This is what happened. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but what really happened was, what clicked it and what sparked it, that Coconut Wireless, was one text. I text Brooke Lee, Miss Universe, a good friend of mine. I am going to Idaho. I don't know anybody in Idaho. Do you know anybody in Idaho? That one text created this phenomena of thousands of people showing up to a food truck to support people they don't know. Why? Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew But
That's right.
those,
The show wasn't on at that point,
no,
right?
it wasn't on. Those thousands of people that you didn't see on television because they thought we were cheating showed up because they wanted to eat. They wanted to eat Hawaiian food in the middle of Idaho that they haven't had for a long time. People from 20 years transplants that lived in Idaho, 15 years or what have you, people going to school showed up. And I'll never forget, I was in Minnesota. It was 20 degrees, raining sideways. We went to an ice cream shop, and there's a guy who comes out with a University of Hawaii hat, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Lanai, what are you doing here?" And I go, "We're doing this food thing, and I'm looking for a place to park." I couldn't say anything. He said, "What do you mean this food thing?" "Oh, we have this food truck and blah, blah, blah." He goes, "Come here tomorrow. This is Grand Avenue. Everyone will be here shopping." I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, you from Hawaii?" He goes, "No, the girl who owns this ice cream place is from Hawaii, my ex-girlfriend." "What?" "Yeah." He goes, "I love Hawaii. I'm going to tell all my friends, come tomorrow, park over here." We show up, about 200 people waiting in line. Tents, raining sideways, it's 20 degrees. Who are these people? We take about 45 minutes to prep. I walk out, and I did this in every city. I would go down the line and I would thank people for coming and let them know we're going to open soon. There's a lady, she's got to be in her 70s, and she tells me, I said, "I want to thank you for coming." She goes, "No, I want to thank you." And I said, "Thank me for what?" She goes, "I've been living here for 20 years and I never knew this many people from Hawaii live in Minnesota. You guys know what you did?" And I go, "What do you mean, know what we did?" She said, "You brought all of us together through food." And I was like, holy moly, I never thought of it like that, right? Where were we? We were in the capital of Spam. Spam was made in Minnesota, right? No, and
That is a genetic connection.
yeah, there's another connection. Spam is made in Minnesota. I meet this guy, Matt, who helps us with the parking and everything. And I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I came to school here, ended up working here. I created a group called the Frozen Ohana." And I go, "What's the Frozen Ohana?" He goes, 2,500 of us that get together every 3 months and have a barbecue because we homesick. And I go, "Homesick from where?" He goes, "From Hawaii." I go, "There's that many people here?" He goes, "Yeah." And that's what happened in every city. All these little, I have a story for every little city, but that one was halfway into the race. And that one, when it clicked in, this is why people came together, because of the food and the aloha that they wanted to share with their friends,
Plus,
their
they wanted to
neighbors.
support somebody who was on a quest.
Yes.
A Hawaiian on a quest.
Yes, totally.
So are you using what you learned from that to do your pop-ups now in different cities all over the place?
I've been on this new journey because of it, of teaching aloha. I have this passion for aloha. I have this passion for teaching people that if you have aloha and good intent with anything that you do, you can do anything that you want. You know what I mean? You can be the best at anything you want because you enjoy it. You enjoy it. You find what your passion is and do it with good intent and aloha. And that's what I've been on this journey through with the food. I've been teaching it through food subliminally. You know?
I can see how you do
Yeah.
that. Also, what's an example recently of aloha through food?
I've been doing these pop-up dinners with different chefs, and I sit with them and we create the menu. And the menu is always going to be the plantation days and the migration of immigrants that came to Hawaii. From Hawaiian food is the first dish to Chinese, to Japanese, to Korean, Portuguese, Filipino. So I walk through the timeline of it and I figure out, will this dish represent that community or immigrant that came to the plantation? Yes, it does. All right, now we're going to create a story behind it. So when you come to my dinner, you're not going to just have dinner. You're going to get an experience. And the experience is going to be the story of when the Chinese came in the late 1700s to trade sandalwood with Kamehameha. And then they introduced us to noodles and rice. And when the Japanese came and introduced us to teriyaki sauce and the musubi, and that's how the Spam musubi came about. And the Portuguese gave us oil and batter. And the oil and the batter, they saw the Japanese guy eating raw shrimp and they said, "You cannot eat that raw." And they grabbed the shrimp and dipped it in the batter and then the oil. That's why when you look at an okazuya, it's flat, our tempura. The Japanese took it one step further and put panko. These stories is the way that I'm going to get to you and share what aloha means. At the end of the day, all these plantation workers got a kaukau tin. They sat in a circle, hot rice in one hand, hot food and vegetable in the middle. And the Japanese said, yeah, try my musubi. And the Chinese said, yeah, that's noodles, try my noodles. What did it do? It brought us together. And the Hawaiians taught us how to share, which is aloha.
Since he and his team won the great food truck race, Lanai Tabura has developed a passion for teaching aloha through food. Whether it's through his cooking shows or his pop-up dinners, he says he's on a mission to share aloha. Mahalo to Lanai Tabura for sharing his life story with us. And mahalo to you for joining us. For PBS Hawaii and Long Story Short, I'm Leslie Wilcox. Aloha nui.
For audio and written transcripts of all episodes of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, visit pbshawaii.org. To download free podcasts of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, go to the Apple iTunes Store or visit pbshawaii.org.
I have kids. I want my kids to live in a better world. It's a tough world right now, you know. So my whole thing is, how am I going to use what I have built to help people? My mom has done it her whole life. She still does it today. My grandparents did it. You know, my grandmother would make a big pot of chili and feed everybody. You know, and for years I go, Grandma, how come there's all this Tupperware on the table? How come you're feeding everybody? She goes, never mind, you just bring this to Uncle's house next door. You bring this to Auntie's. That was how we lived on the Ahupua'a. That's how we shared. That was aloha, right? We have to bring that back. We've made life too difficult. So I don't want it to be difficult. I want it to be simple. I want it, maybe I'm dreaming, but I think I'm doing a pretty good, I've made a pretty good start.